I was out at dinner with my dad last night, and I got a text from Jesse Naylor saying, I think Deebo unfollowed the 49ers on Instagram. I don't know, man. Did he ever follow him? It's weird, but it's like the third or fourth weird thing that's happened this offseason.
I don't pay close enough attention to who the
Yeah,
players
really, right?
follow. I
Exactly.
think back to my time, with the New York Jets. I don't think I ever followed them. So now I went
That's fair.
Deebo Samuel. I
Yeah.
was just a random dude, but I don't even know if it crossed my mind to be like, oh, I gotta follow the team that pays me.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Well, it's starting to seem like things are getting a little strange. And I don't know anything specific, but it seems like they might be far apart. And it just seems like, how could they not be? Like, this comes out the same day that Stephon Diggs signs his big extension. I'm guessing that Deebo Samuel thinks he should be a top 3 for paid wide receiver in the league. And he could argue that, I mean, he's just all pro. And I'm thinking the Niners set aside a budget for what they thought it was going to take to keep Deebo. And I think that price, it keeps going up and up and up. And I'm not sure that they're really anticipated this happening, like the wide receiver market exploding. And I'm not sure that they're really that eager. When I say they, I mean Parag, to just sort of change their budget on the fly and react to the market. What do you think?
If I'm the 49ers and maybe even Debo's agent, I don't even tell him, hey, don't pay attention to Tyreek Hill, don't pay attention to Stephon Diggs, don't pay attention to Devontae Adams. Pay attention to what the guys in your class are going to get. So the Terry McLaurin's, the DK Metcalf, the AJ Brown, like whatever these guys are getting, like that's cool. But we're going to focus on these guys. Now, the only issue, and if I'm Deebo Samuel, I want every single dollar
Yes.
I can get.
Yeah.
And there's something that's interesting that I looked into. One, you kind of got to look at the age of some of these guys as well. I remember a couple years ago, Juju Smith-Schuster, when he re-signed with the Steelers, he was like 23 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Deebo, by the time his new contract could kick in, he'll already be 27, going on 28. By the time it's the playoffs of the following year, when he is playing on the first year of that contract, he'll be 28 years old.
Yeah.
So a 4-year contract or something like that, that's going to put him close to 31, 32 years old when that money runs out. And is he going to be able to re-up? So for him, I think it's important to get every single dollar, squeeze every penny out of this deal that you can. So again, I say don't look at those guys. Look at DK and AJ Brown. But if I'm him, I'm like, nah, man, I want Stephon Diggs money or more.
Right. And he might want I just want a 3 or 4 year extension. I don't want a 6-year extension. I want to hit the market again before I'm 30. Maybe he's thinking that. So yeah, I mean, I just feel like this is very similar to the DeForest Buckner situation, where they said Buckner was going to be on the 49ers for a very long time. But I think the price went up for defensive tackles because of Aaron Donald. And all of a sudden, the Niners were like, man, we got to pay this guy $20+ million. We don't feel comfortable with that. Like, we're just going to draw the line and say we're going to spend $17 million on Eric Armstead. To me, they could use the same logic here. Like, look, we love Deebo Samuel, but we never intended to spend $30 million a year on a wide receiver. Just because the market's going crazy doesn't mean we got to do that. So if he's worth 2 firsts and a second or 1 first and 2 seconds, then maybe we'll consider it. I think it's a mistake. I think you should feel like it's a privilege to have a player like Deebo Samuel on your team. He's your best player. And if that's what it costs to have a great wide receiver, I mean, so be it. But I don't know. I don't know if the Niners do business that way. They don't really react on the fly. They sort of set a budget and stick to it.
Hopefully they do value him that way, because without him, I don't want to say the offense is nothing, but it's not the same, and what I mean by that is, if you look at any time they got in a pinch or they needed a play and they needed something to happen, like who'd they go to? And it wasn't like it's like they're doing any type of fancy scheme or anything like that. It was just get the ball in Deebo Samuel's hands. And he made it happen. He scored a touchdown in the NFC Championship game. I mean, the ball traveled maybe 5 yards in the air laterally, not even downfield. And he took it, broke tackles, ran off for a touchdown. He has that type of impact on the game to where he's just the ultimate playmaker, and you don't have to scheme things open for him. So I think that it's almost invaluable the way and what he means to this offense. And without him, and I know, you can look at it, well, I get a couple first-round picks potentially or whatever you get, and none of that is worth it, the impact that he gives you on a week-in, week-out basis.
How many games would the Niners have won last season if Deebo Samuel wasn't on the team at all?
It would be less. It would be less,
A lot
especially
less.
when you consider, what he did. I mean, go back to the Cincinnati game, and that was a very weird game. But I remember there was one play where he was like in the backfield or whatever, and they just handed the ball off, and he just went around the edge, and next thing you know, he's running in 35 yards for a touchdown. He does those type of things consistently to where it really changes the dynamic of a game, in a game where really the offense, without him being a primary pass catch target, was kind of struggling to move the ball. Like that was the 49ers were gifted that game. The Bengals muffed multiple punts and that set up the 49ers in scoring position, and still the offense wasn't really doing anything with the rock. It took Deebo Samuel doing some really good things to kind of really put it over the top. And that was the case in a lot of games this season.
The offense is just so methodical without him. I mean, Kittle's not as explosive as he was 3-4 years ago. Ayuk isn't explosive like Deebo. Without Deebo, the Niners are going like 4 or 5 yards at a time, and Jimmy's just too mistake prone to pull that off throughout an entire game. They need a guy like Deebo. I mean, every team needs a guy like Deebo. So I guess that's why he's worth so much. Neil says apparently Bosa even unfollowed the Niners too. Maybe that's what agents are telling players to do, and to go like, look, man, you're a free agent right now. Or I don't know. We got to confirm that one. Jesse? Cap or Jimmy?
Bosa doesn't even seem like someone that's even on social media like that.
Yeah.
I think we saw the old tweet, so clearly.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, maybe.
But that suck. But
seriously,
as of now, like he doesn't take me as someone that's like scrolling through Twitter too much. He almost seems like he's in like his own world. Like there's the world everyone else lives in, and then there's like a world that like the Bosas live in, and it's different than our reality.
Yeah, I agree. I would actually almost like to watch that reality show on E, like the Kardashians, just because I feel like they would have it would be like no dialogue. They'd be like, "What's up, bro? Oh, not much, just working out. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool, bro." All right, sorry. Cap or Jimmy? I'll take Cap. On this team, backing up Trey Lance.
I mean, are we talking about like 2022 version of these guys? I would say. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what Cap is at this moment. Yeah, it's been so long. So,
Double B Studio says, could this actually be a Jimmy campaign by the players? How?
No.
I hope not. Business 101, don't trade all pro first team players.
It's money. It's about money. Like it's not football. The one thing I've noticed with football, like when I got to the NFL, like it's a business.
Yes.
It's like the ultimate business. And when they don't need you anymore, they will do whatever to just let you go or trade you or cut you or whatever. And they'll manipulate things to where you don't get the money that you want. Jimmy Garoppolo's situation right now, when they don't need Jimmy, and when they feel like they are in position to where they don't need him, and they'll find that out in OTAs, they will do is you're either going to take a pay cut or we're going to cut you. Like that's going to be the two options. So like knowing that it's a business, you got to do whatever you feel like you got to do to get ahead from the business aspect and get every dollar out of the team. Because when they don't need you, they're gonna do whatever is best for them.
I wanted to make well, hold on. Official B&M Music 88 says keeping Jimmy G in order to get a 7th round pick has become more important than paying the best player on the team. Shake my head. Good job, Niners. What I wanted to say is with Jimmy Garoppolo, why am I blanking right now? Hey, it'll come back to me. Keeping Jimmy in order to get a 7th round pick has become more important than paying the best player on the team. Yeah, no. So what could happen here is the 49ers could essentially keep Jimmy and trade Deebo when they should have done the opposite. And that's the worst case scenario. And that could happen because the Niners didn't really anticipate the market. They thought they could get more for Jimmy because they didn't realize Matt Ryan would be available or Baker Mayfield. They just didn't react on the fly. And the same thing with Deebo. Like they could end up trading Deebo because they didn't see that wide receivers would actually be going for 30 million as opposed to 23. They didn't see it coming and they didn't react. And really, if they keep Jimmy and trade Deebo, man, I don't see how people could defend that one. That would be unpopular.
They won't be able to defend it. I mean, the DeForest Buckner one, I mean, that was a head scratcher for a lot of people. Yes. But if you were to do it again, then people will question it. Now, the way the questions kind of go away is if you still have success. And if you look at 49ers last year, regardless of how we feel about the DeForest Buckner situation, they still went to an NFC Championship game and had a top 3 defense.
It's true. And, like with the Buckner thing, before it went down, I think people would be like, that's never going to happen. That's a terrible idea.
Right.
And then it happened. And then it was like shocking. And then Niner fans were like, okay, we'll ride with it. Whatever the team wants to do. Like that might happen with the Deebo thing. Cause fans just want to trust that their team's doing the right thing, but this would be a hard one to swallow.
That would be different because Deebo, like Buckner was like, obviously it was like, man, he's really good. He's a leader. He's everything that you want your first round draft pick to be. But it's like Deebo is the team.
That's right. He's the face of the team. He scores the touchdowns. He's deep. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
When people think of 49ers right now, they think of Deebo Samuel.
It's true. He's the most important non-quarterback on any team in the league. Like he's their MVP. I really believe that. Much more important than either Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo, which is why I can't get over the fact that the Niners think that next year is their best opportunity because they have to wait for Lance to get ready. Like, no, Deebo's ready now. Anyway, AmTodd99 says, LOL Crocker, you're not alone. Who the fuck follows the Jets? They'd have to give a 10K bonus for players to follow their page. That's hilarious.